All right, and we are live. Hello, everybody out there. My name is Coach Jenny, and I'm really excited that I get to introduce to you Carrie Smith Nicholson. Now, if you have been in my tribe for a while, you probably know Carrie. She's a very, very big VIP in my community, and she is here to share her experiences of working with me at the No Matter What event last June and subsequently in the All In Mastermind for 6 months. Why are we doing this? Well, because we have an event coming up. The next No Matter What is coming up January 28th and 29th, and you can learn all about it on my website if you go to coachjenny.com/no matter what. So that's really what we're going to be talking about, so you have the context. But really what I want to do is let Carrie do all the talking. So Carrie, if you don't mind, do your quick little 30-second intro, if you would, so everybody knows who you are.
Sure, yeah. So I'm totally a big deal. No.
She is. She's a total deal.
Well, I've been working with you for forever. I actually I'm going to hit my 10-year anniversary of online entrepreneurship and blogging and being my own, boss and everything this year, 2021, which is super exciting. I know. Now I'm like the OG of I started a website in 2011 and now it's like, whoa, that was like old school internet, so I feel kind of old there. But throughout my life of online entrepreneurship and all that, I've done a lot of different stuff, but I always love blogging. I always come back to it. I've had successful podcasts. So I kind of call myself a blogger and a podcast. That's really who I am at my core. And then I really do enjoy online marketing, and I work with different teams and clients and help them with marketing and stuff like that. So it's something that just never goes away. And like I said, been doing it for a decade and still love it. So online marketing, it sounds super these days that term is not as taboo as it used to be, but if you said I was an online marketer 10 years ago, you were weird.
You were very, very weird. And you were a blogger before that really had taken off into something people made money at, right?
Mm-hmm.
In 2011, I know there were people making money on blogs, but that wasn't a popularly known thing. And your blog is, well, you've got two successful blogs. Tell everybody a little bit about those.
Yeah, so my first blog was in the finance space. I started it not to make money. Like you said, I didn't even know you really could. I was actually going back and looking at some of my records, and the first dollars that I made blogging was $14 when I wrote an article for Yahoo Finance. And I'm like, wow, $14. What did I do with my time? Yeah, exactly. But since then, I started my own finance blog. It started off as just personal finance, and I was paying off debt and showing how I got out of consumer debt, prioritizing my money. And I worked 3 jobs at the time. And so it was side hustles, paying off debt, that sort of, topics. And then as I became self-employed, so one of my day jobs was to work at the tax office. And as I became self-employed, I specialized at the tax office at small business taxes, and I did a lot of people's small business taxes. So I started breaking that down and talking about that on my blog. And that's kind of what it morphed into, was small business and solopreneurship. I said the tagline was taking complicated topics and turning them into something that you understood. So it's streamlining complicated topics. And then I decided to sell that in 2018 because, quite frankly, I was just burned out. And, you can only talk about so much finance stuff so much before you get the same questions over and over, and it's the same answers over and over, and it just becomes the same. And so I wanted to do something different. So then I started a travel blog about 6 months after that, all about Colorado travel blogging. And we started a podcast. My husband was born and raised in Colorado. So that's been really fun, and we've been doing that ever since. And it took me 5 years to make my finance blog to the point where I counted it successful. So about 70,000 page views. And it took me about 16 months to get my travel blog there. So the learning curve is way lessened.
Well, and you kind of jumped right over a couple little details. One, you wrote a book about selling the first blog. And part of the reason you wrote a book about it is that sale was pretty darn successful. So can you just mention that a little bit so people know about that?
Yeah, so the book is available on Amazon. It's less than $10, so I didn't write it to make a lot of money. I just wanted to share because I wanted to handle my own broker of the sale. And I had a friend who had done it, and so he like gave me some tips and stuff, but there was nothing really out there of like how to sell your blog on your own, especially as, a newbie kind of like me who'd never done before, a woman also at that, stuff like that. So I just wrote it to share and for fun. But yeah, I sold it. The final sale price was $93,500. Spoiler alert, if you don't get the book.
Plus under six figures. Amazing.
Yeah. And it was a really good price. I thought like they got a good deal. I got a good deal. I felt really good about it. It was at that time 7.5 years old. So I felt like that was a good amount of, return on investment that I had put in all the time and money throughout that whole thing. And it was really cool because, like I said, I did broker the whole thing. I didn't have to pay like commissions or anything like that because I knew enough about the legal stuff to write up my own contract, put it through escrow.com is just what we used. And so that I could figure it out, and then I wrote about it. And it's pretty straightforward. It just seems scary when you think about it, but it's not too bad.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely amazing. And now you have mentioned that we've worked together on and off for a long time and off on purpose, right? Like you have dipped in and out of my business. But back in 2011, when you still had a day job, we started working together. You were in one of my very early coaching programs. And over the years, you've been part of a few of my coaching programs, part of the events that I've hosted. We've collaborated on a few things together. There's been a whole lot of different times that you've seen my business. And somehow she still likes me because you've seen all the charming years where I was still building things. But in the last year, I am the most proud of what I've built at this point. And you have just recently taken full advantage of the very first round of that. So I wanted to invite you to talk about from your perspective, because I can talk till I'm blue in the face about how proud I am of these things. But I think people need to hear from somebody who's gone through this experience and leveled up like you have. So you joined the No Matter What event that we had in June. It was the very first one we did. We're doing that again at the end of this month. And for anybody who's kind of kicking the tires about that, can you tell them a little bit about what your experience was?
It was such a unique experience that I hadn't experienced before because at that time, so last year, mid 2020, I was really looking to level up, like you said, and really looking like I've paid you thousands of dollars before and all that. And I was like, but I really need to get to the next level. Like I need someone who can coach me to get to that next level. And I, had worked with you on other events and we had coordinated other stuff and we have other projects that we worked on and everything. And I was like, I really feel like Jenny has already leveled up like I keep following you, like you go up these 2 levels and I'm 2 levels below you. And then I follow that and you level up more. And so it was really like, I'm going to take this, do this 2-day like intensive, really focus on my business, block everything else out, and really like push myself over that hump, get to that next level. And that's what I was really looking for. And it's so nice that I can continue to work with the same person, but also continue to work out of my comfort zone. So I don't have to go find a new coach because I've had several other business coaches. I've had several other side hustle coaches back in the day when I first started. And it always comes back to the coaching that you give me gives me what I'm looking for, plus more. You know what I mean? And it was really life-changing and business-changing to be in that no matter what experience, not just to, create it with you because it was the first one that you had done, but I also went to the second one. And it was just a really interesting progression of all of your like more than a decade of coaching and experience that you have and able to push me and push everybody else. And we pushed each other. When you were you split us up into groups and we have these like mini group coaching sessions and stuff that we do to brainstorm and talk throughout the 2 days. It was, in my opinion, like even way better than in person because I've done the in-person ones too. But I mean, just some logistics that have happened before is like you get in this really big room or multiple rooms and you're either separated or it's so noisy you can't hear anything. And this was just so much more intimate. And it was just such a good way for me to interact with other people who were in my, stage or looking for similar things or even just personal stuff that they were going through and they wanted to get to that next level and people that I'd never even met before and some of them I did. And it was really nice to hear that and have that community there, but also all get simultaneously pushed together. And by the end of the 2 days, it was just like your mind is just blown. And it ended on a Friday, and we definitely needed that Saturday, Sunday to recover. So
absolutely. And we're doing this again, January 28th and 29th, which is a Thursday, Friday. One of the questions I get all the time is, are you ever going to do this on the weekend? And the answer is no, because you need the weekend to recover. And I have to ask you to take some time away. I'd rather you take a couple days off to focus on you. It doesn't even have to be the full day, though. I recommend that because, there's these nice big 6-hour chunks on that Thursday and Friday where you're going to be involved in these activities. But I love that you bring it up. As an introvert, one of the things that I had in mind, you have been one of the people that I've worked with over the years when I'm designing a new experience I have in mind, because not everybody's as extroverted as I am. And so wanting to make sure it was very introvert friendly and you had all of these different rooms where you were meeting different people, but that I'm also pairing you up based on what I know about the participants so that you have as great of an experience as you can. And at the end of those 2 days, you were able to hold up your notebook and say, look at my plans, look at my commitments. I know what I'm doing. It's always right at our fingertips. Look at that. She's ready to go. And you were able to hold that up. And after no matter what, there's an option of joining the All-In Mastermind. And this was also the first time I was doing this mastermind. And I had no idea that you were interested. It was really funny. It was like at the end of the second day, you were like, I think Amanda Wagner has twisted my arm enough that I want to be a part of that. And so what that was about is after these 2 days, you've made these no matter what commitments. I'm doing this no matter what for the next 6 months. And all in is I'm all in for that. And I want Coach Jenny in my corner every step of the way. So can you tell us a little bit about the All-In experience and all that you were able to make happen in these last 6 months?
I'm a really big fan of masterminds, and I've done them in the past, and they're very successful for me because it is that accountability and those check-ins. And I'm very accountable to myself, and I do the work generally, but it's also nice how you can break through that next level by talking about it and relating to where other people are. And it's not like you're working in a vacuum. When you can talk to other entrepreneurs and other people who are going through other things, but in the same space, whether it's business or personal goals, then you're able to really connect with them and be like, oh, everyone's having a problem right now, or it's the time of year or whatever. So it makes it more, I guess, it makes it not as big of a problem as you think it is. Like this mountain goes into just a little hill that you can totally overcome. So when I knew it was going to be a mastermind, and I knew it was going to be for 6 months, and I was going to approach it in this way of like, I'm going to be all in, for 6 months and really see what happens after that. And Amanda Wagner talked to me, and I really have a good synergy with her as far as like what she thinks and what I think. And our personalities are very similar, and we're very much go-getters. And so I was like, well, if she's going to be in it, I want to go see what she does, and she wants to see what I do. And so that was a really good, good peer pressure that I was able to do with her and with everybody else who showed up as well, because some of the other ladies I knew and other people, and some of them I didn't. And it was really cool to see that every month we would meet, for 6 months after that. And it really kept that momentum going, because at the 3-month mark, that's when everyone wanted to quit. And that's when I wanted to quit. And that's when I've quit before. So I really need those 6 months and beyond even to keep working on it and check in every month. And we did these really intense calls. We had the weekly co-working sessions, which were just amazing for me. I know it sounds simple, but
no.
Showing up, working on your business. Each of us did that for like 2-hour blocks every week. And that became more of a staple, as well as everything else that I was working on in those 6 months, to keep the momentum going, to keep myself motivated. Because like I said, everyone wanted to quit at 3 months. We all hit it at relatively the same time, which was also interesting to see how that pattern unfolds.
Yeah. And what's so fascinating, as somebody who's worked with you, I don't know, half a dozen times maybe for a few months at a time, you'd come in and we'd do some one-on-one coaching, and we'd work together 3, 6 months, maybe 8 months. And then you'd be like, okay, I feel like I've leveled up. I'm going to keep going, and then come back. The one-on-one work I think that we've done over the years has been amazing. I'm not putting it down at all. And I'm so impressed with what you've done, but how quickly things changed for you in these last 6 months, being part of this mastermind and being in this headspace and kicking it off with no matter what. It was much more structured than anything you and I have done one-on-one before. And from the cheap seats over here, it seems like you leveled up faster and bigger than I've ever seen you do before. Now, I'm not taking credit for that. I want to be clear, but I think we can share some of the credit because there was something about the structure of this that really helped.
Yes, I would agree with that. It was better than some of the individual coaching that I have done with you and other people as well, and other masterminds that I've done. Yes, the structure, definitely, you created a playground for us to really work on ourselves and our businesses and level up really fast. And it even got to a point where we kind of joke with it by the end of it. Like I was able to make decisions in like 30 minutes, like really big decisions, like life-changing decisions. You find so much clarity. And I probably did 6 years worth of work in 6 months. You know what I mean? Like, and I can see that with the new business that I built, the new blog and everything, how much faster I did versus the 5 years that I spent growing that the old one, the first one. And that was a lot due to my experience, of course, but then also programs like this that I'm able to be involved in and really hone my skills and my talents, but also in an environment that you've created that perfectly caters to that.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for saying that. So I'm sure there are people that are watching the video, which is the whole reason we're doing this. People who kind of know me or have worked with me before, want to know how this is different, want to know, do they really need to come to no matter what? And is it worth those 2 days? It's only $495, right? I've made it as inexpensive as I can. I wanted to keep it under that $500 mark. So it's a way for you to get 2 days of coaching and get really prepared for how can I take these next 6 months and get more done than I have in 6 years. I've talked about that everywhere, but what would you say to somebody who's on the fence and feeling like, I don't know if now is the right time?
Why are you on the fence? This is a slam dunk. No, I understand that, like it is, I think for most people, it's a time commitment more so than just the money commitment, because it is, good for your budget. And the all-in experience after that is not as expensive as a lot of coaching, individual coaching or regular monthly calls for coaching calls. And so it's not necessarily about that, but it's about the time. And so that's what people get hung up, those 2 days, but it's only 2 days. But it's only 2 days, like it's like a lot can happen in that time, but I understand that you have to put forth that effort to block it off, to take the time off work or take the time off your business. And that can be difficult when you're trying to earn money, right? We're all trying to earn money. We're all trying to be successful. And like one thing that I worked on during this 6 months was like, if I have money goals, then I need money activities. And so this is one of those things where you invest in that time and you do see that ROI. And just to be upfront and straight with people, after I signed up for No Matter What, I think I had secured $1,600 or something like that. I have the numbers and I had already shared it with you once before.
Yeah.
So I doubled my money, tripled my money from what I invested in No Matter What. And then for those 6 months and working on my blog and getting it to the place where I wanted, I earned, the 1 month was 2,000, another month was like 1,900 something, and another month was like 1,200. So what are we at? Like 6,200, I think, ish, for the last like 3 months that we worked together. So you make back the time, you make back the money. And that's always a big thing for me, is like, how much time is this going to take? I don't have time for this, and I don't have money for that. Like, what are you talking about? I'm trying to make money here. And it really did make money and give me back my time in troves.
Yeah. And that's what was so exciting, is that you were like, this is what I'm going to do to make new money in addition to the money I'm already making, right? Yep. Like it wasn't like you were starting from scratch. But even if you were, this is the amount of money that I want to make. You had return on your investment in month 1. And that felt really, really good and was just incredible to see, because you were in that space and you were all in on those no matter what commitments. I named all these things really, really well. You were all in on those commitments, and this was happening no matter what in a year where no matter what had a lot of meaning. There was a lot of things happening just in the 2020-ness of it all, a lot of things happening in personal lives, just a lot to tackle. And I couldn't be more excited. So just brag for one more moment, if you would. Give yourself a little credit and share, like, what are the couple of things that you're the most proud of that you were able to make happen in the last 6 months?
Well, if anybody is in the blogging space, they know how much of a big deal it is to get on Mediavine. And so I was able to get on Mediavine, and that's after they increased it from the 25,000 sessions per month to 50. So reaching 50,000 sessions, which is approximately 60,000 page views, by the way, in September. And then I applied for that, got approved in October. So October, November, December of 2020 is the first 3 months that we have earned revenue from the blog. And up until this point, I've invested about 20,000 into that and had not seen, dollars, $700, that it made in like 2019. So it's not even 2 years old yet. April 2021 will be 2 years old for that site and for the podcast. And so really thinking about like all of the time and effort that I did put into it, only the last, several months that we were working in this program was I really able to see those goals. And that's going from like the summertime, it was about 30,000 page views or so. So when we started working together to where it ended, which last month it had about 70,000 page views. So you're talking like doubling and getting on Mediavine, reaching over 50,000 mark, stuff like that, averaging $2,000 a month right now. It's crazy cool.
It is crazy cool. And it's been so fun to be able to be the coach in your corner, watching you do that every step of the way with the good, bad, and ugly that comes up when you're doing those things. So often we go through these things alone. And that's the biggest thing that slows us down, is that we spend all this time and effort coming up with these big dreams that we want to make happen, but we go through it alone. And there really is some magic to having support. So Carrie said it really well, better than I'm going to. Here's the website for No Matter What. It's a no-brainer. You have to come. You have to be there. Registration ends this Sunday. For real, like this Sunday at noon, no matter what. I'm ending registration so that I can send off your packets and get you that beautiful notebook that Carrie held up, and so that you can get ready for this 2-day experience. And I would love to have you there, because you could be the next Carrie. And which is a tall order, because she's kind of amazing, isn't she? Carrie, thank you so much. I knew that people would need to hear from you and know how just incredible you are, but also everything that you were able to do in these last 6 months has been head spinning. It's really exciting.
Absolutely. It was my pleasure, and I'm so glad I can be involved in it, and I can't wait till the next one.
Yes, excellent. All right, so I would love to see you guys at No Matter What. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. And again, visit coachjenny.com/no matter what to get signed up by Sunday. That's all I got for you. I'll see you there.